All right, today we are diving into something called Project DPro. It's basically a powerful blueprint for turning good intentions into actual real-world impact. So yeah, let's get right into it.
You know, it's the big question, right? Especially if you're out there trying to tackle some of the world's toughest problems. It's like you've got the passion, you've got this amazing idea, but how do you actually build it so it lasts? What's the plan to make it stick?
Well, to even start answering that, we need to talk about the unique world these ideas have to survive in. We're talking about the world of development and humanitarian aid.
See, this isn't like building an app in a nice, predictable market. These projects are dropped right into the middle of some serious complexity. You've got shifting politics, crazy environmental challenges, really deep-seated social issues, all happening at once. And look, passion is what gets you started. It's the fuel, for sure. But without a solid engine and a clear map, even the best intentions can just grind to a halt.
And that right there is exactly why having a special kind of project management approach isn't just some nice-to-have extra. No, it's absolutely 100% critical for success.
So here's the deal. Good project management, it takes passionate people and turns them into truly effective agents of change. It gives them the tools to handle all that complexity we just talked about, to be nimble and adapt on the fly. And maybe the biggest thing, it builds an accountability. It's how you can look a community in the eye and show you're going to follow through. It's how you can prove to donors that their money is actually making a real measurable difference.
Okay, so if a generic one-size-fits-all approach just won't work, what's the answer? Well, that brings us to the star of the show, a solution built specifically for this world called Project DPro.
And you should know, this isn't something that was just cooked up in some random boardroom. It was actually created by an organization called PM4NGOs. And their entire reason for existing is to build better tools for NGOs to succeed out in the field.
And that's the key difference here. Project Pro is a global standard, yeah, but it's purpose-built. This is a project management system designed from scratch, keeping in mind the very specific, very real challenges that development and humanitarian pros face every single day.
Okay, so how does it actually work? What does it look like in practice? Well, the whole thing is built around a really clear, logical, and repeatable set of steps. Let's walk through the different phases together.
Basically, the whole journey of a project is broken down into 4 clear phases. Think of it like a master blueprint that takes you from that first little spark of an idea all the way to actually getting the work done.
Okay, phase 1. Everything kicks off right here. The whole point of this first phase is to really nail down that you're working on the right problem with the right people and you have the right solution in mind. This is all about avoiding that classic trap of having a solution that's desperately looking for a problem, right? It's about making sure you don't waste time and money on something that doesn't fix a real, proven need.
So what comes out of this phase? A couple of super important documents. First, you do a deep dive with a stakeholder analysis. You figure out everyone who has a stake in this thing. We're talking everyone from community members to the local government. Then, you use that info to build a solid project proposal that lays out the what, the why, and the how of your plan.
All right, once that proposal gets the green light, you roll into phase 2, project setup. This is all about making things official and, getting all your ducks in a row before you dive into the nitty-gritty planning. This is the moment the idea goes from just an idea to a real, authorized project.
And again, 2 super important things come out of this phase. You get the project charter. That's the official piece of paper that says go and gives the project manager the authority to actually run the show. And at the same time, you build a risk register. This is huge. You're proactively thinking about every single thing that could possibly go wrong. And in the humanitarian world, man, this isn't just some boring checklist. It's a survival plan for when supply chains break, politics get unstable, or a natural disaster hits.
So, okay, the project's defined, it's all set up. The temptation right now is to just jump headfirst into planning everything out, right? But hold on. Project DPro has this really smart built-in quality check right at this moment. It forces everyone to stop and ask a really simple but critical question. Are we actually ready to move on?
And that question gets a formal name. It's called a decision gate. Think of it like a toll booth between phases. It's a mandatory stop where everyone looks at the facts and makes a clear go or no-go call. This is brilliant because it stops what they call zombie projects. Those projects that just keep shuffling along, eating up money and time, long after they should have been stopped.
So once you get the go at that decision gate, you're into phase 3, project planning. Now this is where things get really detailed.
This is where you take that high-level idea from the proposal and break it down into a super detailed step-by-step roadmap.
So you're building out the schedule, figuring out your supply chain, all that stuff. But one of the most critical things you do here is develop the MEAL plan. That stands for monitoring, evaluation, accountability, and learning. Just think of it as the project's nervous system. It's how you're going to track your progress, measure your impact, and learn from what you're doing. And all of this work gets bundled up into the final implementation plan.
Okay, so with that rock-solid plan in hand and another decision gate passed, it's finally time for Phase 4, project implementation. This is it. This is where the rubber meets the road and all that careful prep work finally comes to life.
Now, this phase isn't just about blindly following the plan. It's a constant cycle of doing, checking, and adapting. The team is out there managing the work for sure, but they're also constantly using that meal plan to check in with reality. They're asking, is this actually working the way we thought it would? Do we need to change course? It's that built-in flexibility that's the secret sauce for succeeding in these crazy, unpredictable places.
Okay, let's zoom out and pull this all together. What's the bottom line? What does this whole structured, phased approach actually give you? Well, it gives you a reliable blueprint for making an impact.
When organizations use a framework like this, they're just so much better equipped to handle all that complexity. They use the resources way more effectively, and at the end of the day, they can actually deliver on their promises. It brings the structure and discipline you need to channel all that passion into real, lasting change. It's about maximizing your impact and being accountable from start to finish.
And that really leaves us with one final thought. It doesn't matter if you're in a huge NGO or just starting a small project in your own community. Having a structure like this doesn't box in your passion, it actually sets it free. It gives it direction. So the real question to leave you with is, what kind of impact could you make if you had the right blueprint?